What has two thumbs and just realized he might have $3,000 worth of SNES cartridges on his office shelf and kind of got freaked out that I own that.
That guy?
It's this guy. Hello, I'm Matt Silverman, joined as always by Colette Bennett to talk about video games on Colette Bennett into the chat. It's a video game podcast.
Video games.
And also, there's cat. If you're watching the video version, there's some movement going on there behind.
Were there a lot of
Colette's
cats back there?
I would say there's at least 17 cats moving around there.
I wish there were 17 cats. God.
How's it going?
It is going great. Some good things happening in my world. So I will be happy to talk about that today on the podcast.
Very good things. Very good things. Some of you may already know. Briefly, before we get into that, just number one, please don't come and rob me. Okay. Because I'm talking about all these things I own on the internet. But number two, I stumbled upon in the SNES subreddit, some user was like, I found the Holy Grail. I finally completed my collection. And it was an in-box Chrono Trigger SNES cartridge with, the box, the manual, the inserts, the little advertisements that are in there.
All of
and
it.
This person was like, and in the box was kind of, it was used, but in good shape. And there was a price sticker on the box. And it was like $69.99. And they were like, oh, man, I wish I could get it for that price back in the day. But now I had to pay whatever. And I was like, what is this person talking about? Like, how much could this be worth? And so I go on eBay. And if you want a Chrono Trigger in, used but good condition with everything, $650.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. So like I have a variety of cartridges and consoles from our childhood from 10,000 years ago. But most of them are just carts. They're just like beat up old things without the box. But for whatever reason, my 12-year-old, 13-year-old brain was like, no. The Final Fantasies and the Chrono Triggers and the Secrets of Manas are these beautiful, perfect things that I must keep them in their perfect box. I don't know why I did this, but they were so meaningful to me that I had to preserve them. And somehow they made it all the way here into 2026. I'm like, how much is this shit worth? And I go on eBay and I'm like, holy shit. And so I'm looking over here. No one can see what I'm looking at. And I'm like, if all the manuals are in these boxes, then this is like $3,000 worth of SNES.
It's really weird you bring this up because maybe about a month ago, as long as I have been with my husband, when he was my boyfriend even, in our closet, our shared closet.
I'm sorry, I think you mean your ex-boyfriend.
My ex-boyfriend.
Who is now your husband.
Technically, you're right.
That's a joke from another podcast that
we had always like, it would be like, closet stuff, right? Like, boxes, shoes, whatever. And then in the very corner, a copy of Chrono Trigger in box, a copy of Secret of Mana in box, and a copy of... here's a third one. I think it's Secret of Evermore, but I'm not sure.
Right.
So I was always like, okay, I know the value of these, but why are they in the closet? And he was like, so that they don't, no light touches them.
Totally.
Because I'm trying to protect the boxes. And I was like, okay, but they're in very good condition, etc. So they have moved from house to house with us, closet to closet. And about a month ago, Patrick said, this Chrono Trigger's worth like $800. And I was like, yeah, I do. And
how good are the boxes? How good?
Very good.
Like,
they're not
good condition.
Sealed. That's the best it could get, but they're very good. And he said, I think I might want to sell it. And I was like, really? And he's like, we have it on Steam. We have DS copies of it. Yes, it's a relic, but I can't really display it in our house without being worried about damage.
I know.
And we're in a situation in our lives where we're just kind of like, he was like, I don't know. It's just, I've looked at it for so long, and I was like, look, if you want to sell it, I'm okay with that. I don't have any, personal attachment. I mean, it's cool, but it's not like you can like put it on a shelf in your house and not be worried about damage because of the value.
Right.
So we find a used video game store here that we really like, and it's owned by
Okay.
some folks that are a bit older. And so we come in with our little tote bag, and he's like, "Oh, what you got today?" You know. And so he takes it out and puts it on the counter, and I just
It's
watch the
like
man's. It's an
like
older man. He's probably like maybe my age, a little bit older. I literally watch his face go
uh,
like
uh,
like and then he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, you just brought, a couple things that were laying around the house." And Patrick's like, "Yeah." So I think we left for a check for something like, because he brought another game. I think we left with a check for something like just under $1,000.
wow.
And then we were like, "Fuck it, let's go to dinner."
And you immediately blew it on cocaine.
Yeah, right, as you do. But yeah, it was just funny, and like both of us were like, "Do we feel bad?" And we were both like, "No," because some collector, weirdly, just like the story you just told, will come along and have been waiting for that Holy Grail piece for a full, like SNES collection, and they'll get it. And for them, that might be perfect. But for us, like, we just felt like, and I mean, they were his, they were his childhood ones.
Right.
But like, we were just like, oh, like, okay, okay, like, let it go. So yeah, we let it go. And yeah, I don't feel weird about it, but I hope that someone somewhere is extremely happy that they found
Nor
it.
should you. You should feel great about it. I'm conflicted about it because for pretty much everything else in my video game life, I am nostalgic for the software. So I like being able to emulate or purchase digitally whatever the game is. But
Yeah.
for this handful of it's Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana. I do have Secret of Evermore, Final Fantasy 3, which is 6, which is my all-time favorite, even though Chrono Trigger is probably a better game. And what else? And Super Metroid.
Nice. Yeah, I mean,
again,
it's all personal.
these are the actual objects that I spent all this time with, and I do want to display them, but I actually I immediately freaked out and was like, what the fuck, I had no idea these were so valuable. And then I got like
oh, nice,
like plastic
protector,
like not cases, protectors to kind of, because look, if I felt like I needed to keep them in a dark closet and that was the best I could do, then I agree 100% that, like, what's the point of this? I'm not enjoying them. I'm just hiding them from the world.
Yeah.
But I really want to look over at them and love them and then die, and then my children can sell them for. I was talking about this with my wife. So this is okay. So this is an interesting question for you and like the world and whoever's listening. The people who care about these games are us, old, elderly, demented people. And so today we can sell them to collectors for lots of money, as you did. But like in 20, 30, 50 years, will these physical objects still have the same collectible value? They will be rarer and they will still have their place in gaming history, but like, will my so if Chrono Trigger's worth $650 today in a beat up but decent condition, will my children be able to sell it for like $2,000 in 30 years?
I mean, I think it's possible because, like, you only have a few gens before that. Like, so really what I'm getting at is it's very early gen of video game history.
Right.
So I would think, yes. I don't know, but I mean, I don't see any reason why they would go down in price.
I guess I'm thinking about rarity versus interest, right? They will become more rare for sure, which pushes the value up. But if people stop caring about them,
why would they stop caring?
Because all media becomes less not valuable, but less interested to future generations. You know what I mean? Like, give it enough time. I don't know.
Yeah. You have a point,
I think there's definitely a world where it gains value, for sure.
Yeah, I didn't think about, you're right, because it's like, it's hard to imagine. I guess I'm just trying to think of something comparable, but I really can't because there's really not, like sometimes I go to antique or vintage game shows and I'll see stuff like, oh, someone has a Pac-Man table with two sides, like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
those will sell for, a couple $1,000 usually. They're not like impossible to find, but they're rare. So, but yeah, like will people still care about, a Pac-Man table in 20, 30 years?
And
Or
that's what I
I don't
mean is
know.
like there are many thousands of adults alive today who are like, I have so many memories of playing at this table, so I
Right.
need to put it in my basement to relive that time.
Sure.
But in 50 years, there will be almost none of those people still alive with money. And so I think you'll have a very specific subset who are like, I care about video game history and I'm creating a
Mm.
museum and I want this to complete my collection, but I have personally no nostalgia for it. Therefore, if there's only 7 of those people wanting to pay the money as opposed to thousands of people who are nostalgic who will pay the money, does that drive the price of the object down?
Yeah, I
You know
don't
what I mean?
know. That's a really good question, something I've never thought about because in my lifetime, I've only seen the value of, games like Chrono Trigger go up.
Totally.
So yeah, I don't know. That's a good
It's just,
question.
but then it's like the you have 2 lines, right? People who care about it are not to be morbid, they are
Dead,
going away.
right?
But the amount of those tables or cartridges that exist in the world is also getting lower because damage, flooding, loss, whatever. Yeah, I just find this interesting.
It is interesting. It is interesting. It makes me think about also morbid when a person passes away and people go to like clean up their house or whatever. We had to do this for a member of Patrick's family,
Mm-hmm.
and you look at all their stuff and it all just kind of looks like junk to you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, will that be someone like cleaning up my, I have an NES in box collection. It's like, well, will that be somebody with that? Should I sell it before I get too old? I don't know. It's interesting stuff. I'm curious if the Discord has any thoughts on this.
I'm sure they will. And, you and Patrick don't have kids, and
Right.
that's an awesome thing
Right.
for a variety of reasons. And then I think about our own family and generational attachment or whatever we want to call it. And it's like, well, when we're gone, if I have shared the magic of Chrono Trigger with my children, then and they have an affinity for it, then they might be interested and apply this to anything, a book, a DVD, whatever it is, any piece of media, then they might be inclined to cherish it when we are gone. But if I have not shared or communicated that love of a piece of media to them, then we'll be gone and they'll be like, this is a bunch of junk that dad cared about, but we got to move on from it. And that's fine. You know what I mean?
Wow.
But so that's a very interesting thing.
It is an interesting thing.
You know what else is interesting? You have some huge news to share. It's not about games necessarily.
Well, no, it is kind of.
It is, but it's more about you.
I guess so. Was it last week? I guess it was last week. We're almost at the end of the week. Earlier this week.
We're recording on Sunday, which is late for us, but yes.
Right. We're recording on Sunday, so that's another thing. So by the time people hear this, it probably will be almost the following week. I accepted a new job, which I'm very excited about, and it is working for GameSpot.
Hey.
One of the true OGs of the video game industry. It's interesting because despite having worked for video game blogs in the past, they were all indies. And so this feels very different to me. Like, Destructoid was independently owned. Kotaku was independent. No, actually, I take
know.
it back.
When you say
Kotaku was owned by Gawker at that time.
Oh, that's right. I know. Yeah, well, what is indie? Gawker was it? Okay, well, you may or may not know. I don't remember. was Gawker whatever it was called back then, was Gawker Media like, hey, and we're adding a video game site called Kotaku, or
I
did they acquire Kotaku at some point?
I think Kotaku might have been a part of their initial stable in the beginning. I would have to look it up to be sure, but I know that when I freelanced for them, they were already in Gawker. But I guess my point is that I freelanced for them. I freelanced for a couple of other sites, but I never have been full-time employed with a video game website before.
Right.
So it's a very weird.
Even Destructoid?
Kind of technically I was, but I mean that there's a lot of things that I don't even know if I mean, yes, I could say them, but yes. But anyway,
that was so long ago. It was before the
dawn
salaries and labor laws were invented.
Right. It kind of feels like that. So it is weird. But I'll be there as a commerce editor, which is fun. So I get to wrangle all our freelancers. And I get to pretty much curate all the cool collectible shit that we all like to buy.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about it. I start on April 13th. So I still have a little while before I launch into the stratosphere. But it is the coolest thing ever to be like I swear to God, my friends were like, how do you feel? How do you feel? And I was like, I feel like I'm just slowly living my way into the reality of like, oh, I'm going to work for a video game company. I mean, the only thing that would feel more legit would be like, I'm going to work for Nintendo or something. But
totally.
It's nice to be like, oh, like I'll go to work and it'll be about games, and then I'll do my podcast and it's about games.
That's great.
And it's also nice because I feel like there's just like, for me as an ADHD person, like levels of masking at every job I've ever been at, and I think the nice thing about freelancing for places like Destructoid and Kotaku was not having to do that. And I won't have to do that at this job. Like when I was having my interview process, I would like hop on these Zoom calls and the screen would come on and it would be like a person interviewing me. And like the entire background would just be like games and collectibles and shit, and I was just like, this is the best. Like
you're with your people, you're talking to your people.
And they fully speak your language and it's just so very nice. So I love the idea of, obviously every job is a job and it has, corporate culture stuff.
Yep.
But the overall, like I got my employee handbook and it's really cool. It's like a very graphic like cover and it's just like little squares and it's stuff like Darth Vader's helmet and like an AT-AT and like a little Tetris like and I was just like, oh my God.
Cute. Yeah.
This is the best. So yeah, really happy about it.
I want to point out for, folks who don't work in our biz that like if you were like, hey, I'm going to be a news reporter at a game website, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? You're out of your mind. Because the industry is so volatile and has been for so long.
Yeah.
But much like Liam Neeson, you have a unique set of skills in that like e-commerce and affiliate marketing is like integral to the health and profitability of various, websites, but like digital media brands, and this so this could expand to YouTube or podcasting or what have you. But the point is that these sites desperately need your editorial and strategic skills to stay afloat. So like you are in demand in this way. And so you could have ended up at whatever, name the news website. But the fact that you are landing at GameSpot, which is part of fandom, we should say, right? I don't know that whatever the parent company's name is, you probably know, but
no, it's Fandom. Fandom
is that the name of the company?
Yeah, and they own a bunch of stuff. Actually, I learned they own Metacritic, they own TV Guide, they own
that's right,
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's a huge portfolio.
It is, and one thing that really encouraged me, because Fandom has had some upheavals in the past couple of years, because they used to own Giant Bomb and now they don't anymore.
That's right.
But one thing that encouraged me was that of the people I spoke to, I went through 6 interviews for my process.
I know, it was a process.
Of those interviews, with the exception of the VP who came from Polygon and is newish, he's been there less than a year. Everyone that was there had been there over 10 years. The editorial
you said that to me.
manager had
really
been
cool.
there 14 years. Like,
you love to see that, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, every time I would talk to people who had been there for a long time, because I would research them beforehand, I was just like, tell me about staying at a place for that long, because I haven't had that experience. The longest I've ever been anywhere was the Daily Dot for 5 years.
Yeah. It's extremely rare to work in a single digital media company or job for longer than 3 to 5 years. Five was my max too. I did 5 at both companies, along with you.
Yeah. So I was just very surprised by that. So yeah, it will be an interesting adventure, but yeah, and I swear I'm not going to navel gaze about this too much, but this entire experience has made me realize that how often people with ADHD probably force themselves to adapt in situations in which they are not performing at their best. We are people who absolutely shine when we are touching a hyper-focused thing at work. But when we are not, we have to struggle to adapt. And it takes a lot of spoons for us to struggle to adapt. And
you have to force yourself to focus on something that you otherwise would be completely uninterested in.
Correct. And that I have done a lot of throughout my career. And so it feels really like just a big sigh of relief to be like, oh, I can quite literally pay my mortgage by, editing people's work and, directing people's work and about things I care about deeply.
Totally.
And that I just can't describe what a deep breath of relief that feels like.
I love that. And even if you're not obsessed with the individual thing you're working on at any moment, you're still in the zone of things you care about. And that's just the best.
I'm still speaking the language of a thing that I've been speaking now for 40 plus years.
Totally.
And that is a huge plus because it sure beats having, and I do feel like being in finance, for instance, was fascinating to me, learning about companies and their health. Like, I can't say that I hated every minute of it.
No.
But this is just deeply different. I mean, for me, my whole life, it's been my two big hyper focuses have been animals and video games. And so being able to touch one of them on a regular basis for work is just awesome. So I'm excited. Obviously, I'll probably, shill things that we're doing on future episodes of the show. So people could go check it out. But yeah, looking very forward to it. So.
Well, when you shared the news with me, I was like, wait, are they okay with you doing a games podcast? Because sometimes, not so much these days, but sometimes it's like, you can't talk publicly about the things that you do at work. Or not, or you represent our company. So if you go on a podcast that you own and then shit all over a game because you hate it, that could be a conflict of interest. And so I was like, do they know about this? And then it sounds like everything's cool.
Yeah, I wonder if on the editorial side it might have been different, but totally. But considering that I'm on the commerce side, it wasn't a conflict. And also they did look at it, and they were like, we don't think you're making millions off this podcast. And I was like, no, we are not. So
they don't know.
Yeah, they don't know. But anyway, so
that's an interesting.
Luckily I get to still have a podcast, which I'm very happy about because it is fun.
Colette, that's a very interesting point. Brought to you by Temu. Have you ever needed to shop online? Well, yeah. No, we're not making millions yet.
No.
Yet.
Right. Surely it'll come 200 and some odd episodes into the podcast life.
Hey kids, you want to make $0 for years, for 10 years? Try podcasting. Try YouTubing.
Okay, but speaking of podcasts, obviously money is not the only great thing you get from podcasts. Last week, I believe we talked about you won an award for Tales from the Cloud Sea, which is very exciting. And I saw on social media this week that you have been nominated for another award, yes?
Why? Don't go on social media.
I'm sorry?
It's disgusting out there.
I know, but it was the Cloud Sea account and I saw it. And then
Yes.
I think I saw like 2 different mentions, and then I was like, wait, are there 3 nominate? Like, how many nominations are we on? So I had to get some clarity on that.
So we are very grateful that we won. We won Best Kids Podcast for the NYC Podcast Awards, which we talked about maybe an episode or 2 ago, and that has been really cool and is beginning to open doors and crack the door open and give us a nice talking point to trumpet about the show, beat our chest about the show, blah blah blah. And I had submitted us for. There is a London-based comedy podcast festival called the Cheerful Earful Podcast Festival, which is the most delightful name
It's
you
so
can imagine.
cute.
I think they've been doing that for some time, and so this is specifically British comedy podcasts, which is obviously very specific, but they have a separate
Sure.
category for best international podcast.
Oh.
And so it's like, hey, you're outside of our British zone here, but we want to honor other comedy shows. I was like, all right, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And so a couple days ago, we got an email that was like, "Hey, you have been nominated for Best International Podcast." So we're nominated. We're one of 10, and it's cool because it is not specifically like the kids and family zone, which we are typically in when we are listed or recognized in other directories or whatever. It is specifically like, oh, these are 9 other comedy shows from around the world, and we are among them. And so we were just joking, like, well, but get your plane tickets. We're heading to London for the ceremony, which we obviously are not going to do, and cannot afford to do. I am not going to fly to London to sit in a room and lose to these other podcasts.
You don't know that. You might win.
But so I'm in touch with the company that's putting it on and being like, hey, we're so honored and we want to like talk about it, and like, are you live streaming? Are in the very rare chance that we win or are recognized in some way, like we could do some sort of like remote video acceptance speech or something. So we're figuring that out. But yeah, it is nice for people to discover the show in the context of other really cool things, and for us to put like a badge on our website and on our posters and social, being like, hey,
award-winning and nominated, which I love. So I love seeing you guys flourish, and so quickly, really, after this came about.
We appreciate that. It feels, for anyone aspiring to make something on the internet, or build something. I think I got a notification for like the domain of the show. Mm-hmm. That's like, from GoDaddy or whatever. That's like, hey, do you want to renew your domain? Like it's been 2 years. Like you got to renew your domain name. And I was like, shit, we have been like discussing and workshopping and reserving domains and social handles and whatever for like 2 years. I think it's been.
Wow. I had no
and the
idea
show has not been
publishing
for 2 years, but it's kind of like, oh, right. I got in touch with the performers and started like building this project for a very long time. And only now are we starting to like be recognized by the world. And that's not a complaint or anything. It's just it is a reminder to myself and to others to be like, things take, in the words of Skye Berkson, things take time.
Who I hope will be tickled to hear himself quoted, in fact.
I like talking to him about his process and just and hearing from, because his art is just so slow, and I don't mean that as a criticism. That's a good thing.
That's how it's supposed to be, and that's why it comes out the way it comes out.
And I'm a person who's like, I gotta do everything, and I gotta do all the things, and I'm gonna hit the publish button, and if this doesn't have 1 million views on it in a week, then I'm a failure. And he's like, bro,
slow down,
slow the fuck down. So yeah, it's nice to be recognized, and it's like, a nod from a festival here, and a social account picked it up here, and we have a cool, notable guest. That's the other thing I'll say. So we're recording this Sunday, and this is public. We shared it publicly. But in 3 days, on Wednesday, we will be publishing an episode with our guest performer Mark Meir, who is, first of all, the most delightful human being and most generous human being you could imagine. But second of all, he is this professional voice actor and improviser who is the voice of Commander Shepard in all 3 Mass Effect games. Like, that is what he is most known for.
Wow.
So if you're a Mass Effect fan, you are a Mark Meir fan. And he's been in just a ton of other things that you will know and love. The first 2 Baldur's Gate games, not Baldur's. He jokingly, we were talking about it. We were writing out his credits to like put him in the credits. He's like, I was like, oh, what's the other stuff you want to shout? He's like, oh, the Baldur's Gate games, not the one you like, because he was not cast in the 3rd game.
A lot of people like those games, man. The originals.
Dude, Baldur's 1 and 2 are very important.
That's history making stuff.
100%. He's like, I'm the 3rd cleric on the left in Baldur's Gate 2. uncredited evil cleric, or something like that. And then he's doing is it The Long Dark? The Long Dark is like hopefully I'm saying the right game. I should go back and look it up. But like it's this like serialized, like you're in the Canadian wilderness trying to survive, and it's a survival game.
I've heard of it,
but it's also like a horror game. But he was saying, it's not supernatural. It's more like, good luck out there. It's fucking cold and you're in the Canadian wilderness. And so people love these games. And so there's like another installment of the game coming out. And he and Jennifer Hale, who is also Canadian, are doing that. And so, and I'll just say, like, it's really cool to get a celebrity on your show. And it's very cool to work with him. He's also a fucking genius. Like, he's so talented and skilled. Like, no spoilers, but they served up a concept. Like, in the moment, we were doing the story of the show, and one of our actors was like, and then there's like someone on the ship, and we can't believe he's here. And he just fucking did it. This voice and this character that was not planned at all. No
planning, just delivered
Zero plan. And he just grabbed the concept and created a voice. You probably won't even recognize his voice because it's that good, Like, again, like, he played Commander Shepard, who is this like stoic, spaceship man. And now the voice that he's doing on our show is like, you won't even recognize it because he's that good. He's that versatile.
It's coming out today?
It'll be out Wednesday. So it'll be out, is that April 1st? Yeah, April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day. April Fool's, it's Commander Shepard, but not.
Yeah, and he's lovely. And honestly, I owe him an email, and I'm half a mind to be like, you want to come on here and talk about the video game voice acting industry? And I'm pretty sure he'll say yes. So if you want to
ask
have him on,
that'd be amazing. Like, I would love that.
Yeah. So stay tuned for all this. But he's just a, like, these people are busy and in demand. I think he's going to be in Dragon Con soon, when in your neck of the woods shortly.
You just reminded me I need to look at what is being booked this year for Dragon
Yep.
Con. Thank you.
Yep. And so he doesn't need to like share our show on social media before it's out, or like, be in touch with us, but he did and is, and he's just the coolest dude. So
how lovely.
Anyway, thank you. More cat. And as if we didn't have enough cats on camera here, there's more coming in.
Be happy that his butt's not on the camera, as we have seen in prior episodes.
Let's talk about games. Just briefly, like, we just looked at the news for the week and we were just like, nah, not interested.
No, not going to do it.
We just want to talk about the games we're playing. So you've got, I don't know how to feel about this first game you have queued up here. What the hell is going on?
Okay, so I enjoy phone games, but the reason why I rarely talk about them on the show is because usually when I find a phone game that I like, it's very like it'll be a very simplistic thing. Like I play spelling or word games
Hmm.
sometimes, and it's very like shut your brain off stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like it's bad, but it's also not like I'd be like, oh my God, on the podcast about it, right? So I'm in a couple of like wholesome games slash like cozy game groups where I, get to hear about things coming out. And someone mentioned this game called Maker Valley.
Maker
And I went and
Valley.
looked at it and I was like, wow, super cute, big like Animal Crossing vibes here. But you know, the hard thing about the phone game space, I think, is that everything is just riddled with ads. And I'll get to
Yep.
why I'm mentioning that early. But so it's hard, right? Like I'll see something I'm interested in and I'll be like, yeah, but ads. And I think maybe the workaround for this is something like Apple Arcade, where you pay up front and then you're not
Mhm.
getting any ads at all, and you're getting like these high quality games.
And
Um,
there's tons of free, not free, premium games in your app store of choice that are like, hey, this is
yeah,
$4.99 and it
right,
is a port of a high quality PC game, and here you go.
right. So, so I was like, okay, I'll check this out. I downloaded it yesterday, I think. And I have probably played it, I would say, for maybe 4 hours total since yesterday, like a couple hours yesterday, a couple hours this morning. And I have seen no ads.
Oh
Not even
wow.
one ad, which I'm
And it's
like, okay,
free. Yeah.
it was free to download. And so I was like, okay, some games they don't start introducing ads until you've been playing for a while. But I've played quite a bit and I haven't seen anything, not even the like, you know, do this to speed up and like, watch an
Yeah.
ad. So I'm kind of boggled because I'm not used to not having any of those options. And so I'm like, okay, I guess we'll see. But this has so far been such a pleasant game and
Hmm.
also such a great Animal Crossing. Like if you love Animal Crossing and you miss the kind of the cuteness, the humor, the little things you do, like
These are my questions.
they've
I'm eager
really
to learn
got
more.
they've got the humor really nailed in like that very like some of the jokes are like good, borderlining on bad, but like it
Great.
works. You know what I mean?
Great. Love it. Self-aware.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Which it makes me so I would I'm you I'm sure we'll be talking about this shortly, but like when you see phone games like this, my instinct is like, oh, this is just some Chinese
Yep.
something that is very cute, but like the charm and the writing is not necessarily going to be there because it's not an English language game. So I'm wondering if you're finding the humor and writing charming, then this
Yes.
must be people who know what they're doing, right?
That is how it is coming across to me so far. It does not I did not look at the credits, but it actually does not feel like a game written by non-English speaking people, and I do not that mean for that to be racial
No, no,
slur
no.
in any
And I,
way.
I hope you don't take it that way either.
Mm-mm. It just
Space Ape Studios is the
oh,
developer, which I
okay.
am
So
just going to
perhaps
take a peek at
perhaps we,
here.
we will stalk them a little. But so let me talk a little bit about the mechanics. So basically what happens is it is very much Animal Crossing in that your character is you get to make a little character really cute, as you can see. You're living in a new town and you are welcoming people into that town. And so you have a couple of different things going in that process. In order to welcome people in, you'll have to build them a house,
Mhm.
which sounds familiar, right? You have to grow things, like you have to grow crops, but it's very simplified. There's no watering. There's no finding the seeds, buying the seeds. It is
Mm,
quite literally, oh, I need to plant more wheat so I can go to the baker and make bread. I just plant wheat, like that's it.
yeah,
Like there's no
yeah.
collecting of seeds
Mhm.
or anything like that. There's no watering. You put it up, you put your stuff into their plots, you let it grow, 2 minutes later you have your stuff. And then from then on out, like in the first couple of levels, you're getting things like, oh, like here's the baker, you can go to the baker and like give them your wheat and they'll make you some bread. Oh, here is the milk lady, like bring her the milk and she'll make you cheese, stuff like that. And then the villagers will make requests, which you can, like, oh, I want one strawberry and one cheese. Okay, you can give them that. So you have like your little overview of the town, and you also get to do things like forage. So
Mhm.
as you play, you'll look around and you'll be like, oh, there's wood. Now I can craft a bench or whatever. And as you make things, you put them around your area. You get to decorate as you want, and then the villagers will come and sit on them and play with them or whatever you're doing. If you put out a beach blanket, they'll go sit on it and they'll leave you a little heart. And when
Mhm.
you claim your hearts, then you kind of like those accumulate towards things like your levels, money
Love
you're
it.
earning, etc. So all those things are happening at the same time. And then there's a guy in the square who you click him and you start playing match 3 games. And the match 3 games
Huh.
that you're playing. So to me, this is really smart design. And I'll tell you why.
Yes.
Because
Okay.
a lot of games like this, you do things and then you're like, I'm out of things to do. And you close the app.
Yeah.
But like, okay, I have to wait 3 minutes for strawberries to harvest, right? So you go, instead of leaving the app, you go and see your guy and you play a few rounds and you
Right.
earn you earn
Which
more,
gives you a reward or currency to do
Yes.
some other thing. I love
you
that.
earn more stuff to craft with or whatever. And you're like, okay, cool. And then you come out and then your harvest is ready and then you have more to do.
Great.
So I'm realizing as I'm telling you this that I haven't had this situation yet, but I'm wondering if later, as you get into later levels, when you plant crops, they take so long that you spend these little like jewels to like speed them up. And I
Yep.
wonder if that is where the money
I'm
would
sure.
come in.
I'm sure. And that is that, there is ethical free to play where it's like, hey, if you want to support the game or speed it up or whatever, it's like you have the option. It's not a wall. It's like you can wait or you can
wait or you
pay,
can do it. But I will say from the 4 hours I've spent so far that if I had options to, and there aren't any ads, but if I had options to pay $8 to, get rid of ads or whatever, I would, because I think this is so well made that I actually want to pay the developers for what they've done. It's pleasant, it's fun, it's very cute. Somehow, some way, the characters capture the charm that you like about Animal Crossing without feeling like a direct rip. They feel like
the art style is very much its own.
It is.
So Colette linked the website. This is iOS only. There's no Android
really?
version.
I didn't know
it's
that.
only showing Apple App Store, and this is also reminding me that I'm an Android Windows person, but I do think that Apple makes best in class hardware and devices.
Sure.
However, Apple sucks so fucking much at web things. And I'm pointing that out because I am a person who is interested in seeing this game and looking at this game. And the App Store on a web browser in 2026 literally has blurry photos that I cannot zoom in on.
Are you serious?
Click on them. I can't look at them. It is literally just like low-res, blurry nonsense that I can't even see on a desktop web browser. And there's no way for me to look at what this game looks like unless I purchase an iPhone and go into the App Store. And that makes me so irrationally angry.
Frustrating.
So I see, and the developer's website is a non-website. It's literally just here's a button for the App Store. So I'm not criticizing the developer. I'm saying like me as a person who loves these games, I literally cannot see what you're talking about. I am enjoying you talking about it, but what the fuck, Apple? Like what the hell?
No, that's shitty. Because like I just opened it in the Mac store and I'm on a Mac right now.
Exactly.
And they're fine. The pictures are fine. But yeah, I opened it on web and you're right. They look like garbage.
Can't see the game.
I hate that.
Every time I interact with Apple's ecosystem on the World Wide Web, I am like, what the fuck? And I'm not going to get into it here.
Care, maybe? Like, I mean, it's stupid to not care, but I guess they're
crazy
like,
to
we
not
want
care.
you in the ecosystem. So if you're in the ecosystem, you get it. So I am wondering if this game works on iPad because it would be probably even more, because it's all touch.
I bet it would be delightful on an iPad.
So I have an iPad upstairs. I might try it. But anyway, TLDR, I'm really enjoying it. Really fun game. I love There's nothing unpleasant in it yet so far. I am very interested to see what happens as I continue to open up more levels because, that's one thing I forgot to mention. So when you start, you just have like a smallish town area, but you can see all these areas around you that you can unlock as you go through more levels.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming it's going to get bigger and bigger. I'm also curious about how hard or easy it'll be to manage all the different things like, my bread's baking at the bread shop, my milk is being made. I've got, at what point am I going to open up plots and be able to do like multiple crops? Because
Yes.
right now I only have one plot.
Mm-hmm,
So I'm curious to see how it gets when I get to that. Because I've had some games I've played where I've enjoyed them in the beginning. And then as they there's too much going on, I get overwhelmed and I don't want to play them anymore.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll report back on that. But overall, I will
The
say
pacing of complexity and the structure of complexity in a game is such an art. You know what I mean? From a development point of view. And
so far this has been good, but it's
really cool. Totally.
So, but I will say that I have not played anything this pleasant that I've enjoyed this much on a phone in a very long time, to the point to where I was in the Discord yesterday asking people like about like the
like a controller
the controller attachments. Now, the only thing is though, is that it's touch. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if by adding a controller attachment and connecting to Bluetooth, I don't think that would work actually.
You need to I would highly doubt if they support. You have to see specifically if it has controller support, because
I don't know. I'm going to find out. But I mean,
many mobile games don't, which is good. I get it, but also annoying. My question. Well, continue. I have two key questions.
Actually, I'm pretty much done. I mean, that's the overview of the game itself. It keeps you busy and it doesn't feel overwhelming and it's very cute. But please ask away.
It's called Maker Valley. Just saying again for people listening who might be interested in checking it out. Can you do portrait mode?
No.
Right. So it is a like hold your phone like a screen controller.
Correct.
Video game. And then my other question is like, is it like, are the mechanics Animal Crossing, where it's like I'm doing things that take time and then I'm sort of looking forward to real time passing so I can check in tomorrow? Or is it more like Stardew, where you're like, I'm doing all the things on my own timetable, because does time pass when you're not in the app is kind of what I'm saying.
Yes. So I just unlocked when I hit level 3, it was like, okay, now time will pass in real time. So like, you will see the sun go down and come up and stuff. The game does not force you to sleep, however. So there's none of that. Like you can just keep going.
Let me ask a different way. If it's 4:00 in real life, is it 4:00 in the town?
Hold on. I'm going to tell you, because that's one thing that I didn't notice, but I think yes.
That's cool.
Let's see.
Because, Animal Crossing was such a monster hit in its recent incarnation, obviously, and I don't know, there aren't really any other games like it. Like, many have tried, but hitting that perfect formula, which includes charm and writing and characters, but then also like, I am checking in on this world because the world is continuing without me. I just love that so much as a concept.
It's real time.
It is real time. So if you log in at 9 p.m., it's dark.
It should be, town. But I just unlocked the time. You will now see the sun come up and down today.
So it's like
that means that tonight, I guess I'll see that.
This is really fun, because I think so. It sounds like you were in tutorial mode, where it's like, oh, it's sunny, and no matter when you're playing, you're getting this sort of sunshiny experience, and now you're entering the real time zone, and that's a good. It's good design.
Yeah,
I like
and
this.
I'm curious too. Like, will things change? Like, will they use that? Like, in Stardew, if you fish at night, you get different fish. Like, so how will that?
I hope so.
And will it be used?
What are we doing here if there's no value in that? Yeah.
So I will definitely report back, because I plan to keep playing it, but it's just nice to discover something on a phone that I actually enjoy enough. And also, it's such a complete contrast from the other game I'm playing right now. So
We'll get into that shortly.
right? Like, would you like to like do this like wholesome Animal Crossing thing, or would you like to shoot zombies in the face?
Well, let's alternate because we each have two, right? I'll be pretty quick here, but I'm eager to piggyback on Maker Valley because it's not the same thing, but there is a demo of Tomodachi Life. Living
Is it
the dream.
Switch 2 only, or is can you play it on Switch 1?
I thought so, and I think it's both. I think it's both, actually. So I think you should.
It says the Nintendo Switch system. So
it says okay. So the version. It's definitely both.
It is
version Nintendo Switch. So this seems to be a game that they are releasing cross-platform, if we want to call the Switch and Switch 2 two platforms. Okay. And I'll say, sort of mildly disappointingly, the game runs at 30 frames. And it's very stable and it's very good. I have no real complaints, but it's very interesting that a Nintendo first-party game on the Switch 2, which is now like supposed to be the let's all get on board with the Switch 2, that they're releasing this game as basically a Switch 1 game that runs at 30 frames on a Switch 2. It's weird that they're not putting out a Switch 2 version. But I'm happy that they are saying to all of the Animal Crossing heads that may or may not care about a Switch 2 that, hey, you can play this too. So whoever is listening to this who has any version of a Switch, you should go download the Tomodachi demo.
Well, because it seems like functionality wise, right? Like you're starting with a very basic village and you're like, introducing villagers in, that it's very similar to Maker Valley in as far as what you get to do, at least in the beginning.
I presume.
Okay.
I have no experience with the DS Tomodachi franchise. I guess it was one game or maybe one or two. I don't know anything about this series other than the promos for this new game. But I'm super, like, this is very much at the top of my wish list. Like I want to be here on day one, and I'm super glad they put out a demo. Do you have any familiarity with the mechanics of this game?
No, because I've always felt like kind of meh about like Mii's for some reason. So like when I saw this was coming out, I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. And then, you were really excited about it in the Discord, and that made me kind of like, I don't know, like I tend to like respect your opinion in a lot of ways about games. So I was like, maybe I will give it a try. But I wasn't sure about Switch 2 versus Switch 1. So now I'm looking at the trailer and it says, this game is compatible with Nintendo Switch 2 system.
I didn't realize that until actually this morning as well. So
yeah, so I'm going to get the demo today, actually.
Do it. Definitely do it.
It is really cute.
I think the aversion to Mii's, which I also have, is like, hey, you should make a Mii of yourself and then race around in Mario Kart or Switch Sports or Wii Sports or whatever. And I think making like a dumb cartoon version of yourself for games, I think it's cute for some people and for other people. And I think what you're saying, and I really do agree, is like, I want to be a cool, Monster Hunter lady, or I want to be a sick ass samurai. I don't want to be a Mii, a bobblehead version of myself. That's stupid. So I get that. But what I realized with Tomodachi Life as we were checking out the demo, and I will also say that I was booting up this demo with my daughter and her friend, so two 13-year-old middle school girls who were sitting down just in the background on their phones being like, what the fuck is this game? What are you doing? What are you playing? I was like, buckle up. And so it was very funny and interesting. So you create the first Mii, and I think there is a perception that I held and they were holding of like, you're playing this game, so you need to create yourself in this game. And that's actually not the case. You are creating like ant farm people who are not you. You are a disembodied sort of entity that like reaches into the ant farm, or you're like this weird overlord that the Miis can talk to and You can reach into their minds to
So
see
you
what
don't
they're thinking.
exist in this little
You are not a
town.
character. You are the god or goddess
Whoa.
of this town. And the
That
Mies
actually
that
appeals to me more.
it's way better. The Mies you are creating are these quirky individual characters who can be crazy mohawk, rock and roll dudes, or grandmas who skateboard, or babies who bounce around goo goo gaga, like just whatever weird shit you want to drop into this town. And then the magic is that they will start to form relationships naturally through simulation. But if you want skateboarding grandma and surfer dude rocker man to like have a conversation, you just pick them up with you like pick them up with your hand, your god hand, and just like drop them into the same beach together, and they're like
Okay, this
and so
conversation has single-handedly taken me from like very like, like flat interest to complete interest.
yes. And that's the difference between this and Animal Crossing. While they share similar vibes and modalities, in Animal Crossing, you are a character who lives on the island and is forming relationships with the islanders, the villagers.
And in this
And
you're
in
not.
this, you are creating a simulated town that you can influence, but you don't live there. And that is very cool. And then add on top of that the charm of this game is not like quirky, cute animals. The charm is like everyone's weird, and it's all the Mii's are weirdos, and then sometimes they like have crushes on each other, and there are love triangles, and there are friendships based on so the thing I really like about it is you create your Mii, and you create not your Mii, you create a character that lives on the island, and there are various sliders that are like, this Mii is very direct. I think it's like honest or polite, and you're sliding the slider to like this guy will be very direct in his communication,
Right.
and he'll be. I wish I had the sliders in front of me, but it's like,
I just saw them in the video because I have the video
okay,
running on
you're
the side of
watching
the
it, so it's
screen
like
here.
emotional versus buttoned up, or quirky versus I wish I was looking at it. But anyway, you're sliding various sliders to see how they will interact with other characters. And those sliders and quirks and events that occur will impact how they interact with each other and whether or not certain Mii's will get along. So I think what starts to happen is like some characters will tolerate each other, and some characters will become friends because they share common interests or personalities, and some characters will really start having crushes on other characters, and whether or not that will be reciprocated will be a fun part of the drama. And
And that's
other
not up to you.
characters,
They're going to
it's
make
not
their
up
own
to you.
independent
It's not up to you.
decisions.
And some characters will fucking hate each other, and they will really be like, I do not like this fucker, get me away from him. And you can influence it because you can drop them in situations to push them together or separate them. Or you can kind of, based on what I'm understanding, the demo is very short.
I
You
was
can
going to ask about how long it is.
I think in the beginning, it's kind of like, I'm lonely. I need more people to talk to. And so you create other characters, and then the characters will be like, oh, there's someone on the island that I would like to be friends with. What should we talk about? And you can add topics or conversation concepts that they can then, when you drop them together, they can be like, hey, I want to talk to you about, music. And then the other person will be like, I also like music. And then all of a sudden you'll like level up their friendship to be like, we both like music. So we went from strangers to acquaintances. And so now it's
Okay.
like, and so the demo does not go deep on the complexity, but they're showing you the systems that are like
So you can know where you'll be going.
really deep, complex social
Okay.
systems that you can influence or just watch it play out. And I'm all about that.
So I'm seeing from the video, I'm seeing that there is some like playability like with two people. Do you know anything about like, for instance, like let's just say you played it and then like your daughter played it on a separate
Oh,
Switch?
multiplayer? I
Yeah,
actually have
like is
no
that
idea. I
okay?
don't know.
Because it
There,
because it did say something about being able to play with a friend, but I'm not sure how it works yet.
it might be like you visit other players' islands, and
Right, that's what I
but
was
I
wondering.
actually don't know. I don't know that there's split screen co-op, but I could be not split screen, but like cooperative on
Like
the same
co-op,
island. I
co-op.
don't I don't know. And then the other thing that I'm very interested in is like I think I perceive that it is Animal Crossing in that it progresses in real time, and that the islanders form relationships over time in real time. But I don't know the extent of that.
Okay. I'm making some notes on my pad here because I
Totally.
want to find out about that because you had asked me the other day about Patrick and I having multiple Steam Decks. We do not, but we do have
Right.
multiple Switches. So I'm
And yeah,
curious if this is something that we could potentially play together.
I think the answer is yes, but I don't know exactly how or whether it was even worth it to like do it because
Okay.
as we knew from Animal Crossing, it was like if you open your island for a period of time and only 3 people are online and you go to the gate and fly and turn off your, cell phone and the moon is in
Right.
retrograde, then only then you can visit an island in Animal Crossing. So
Right. It was very
so
specific. I mean,
clunky and
I did
stupid.
it, but I just didn't. Yeah, I did it, but yeah, it was okay.
I the because this is not the first game of in Tomodachi, and I am observing people in the world being like, "Oh my god, Tomodachi Life was such a weird, crazy, awesome DS thing that people love, and now they're bringing it forward into the Animal Crossing zone, and they're putting out a demo, and it's everything I hoped it would be and more. Like this feels like I want to get on the boat on
Right.
day one kind of Nintendo game, you know?
Yeah.
Like I want to be part of the Tomodachi world
Right. Like right
as
off the
it's
bat.
happening. So yeah,
Interesting.
I'm all that to say I'm sold on this, and I think you should do the demo because it's just so weird and dumb, but also has the social gameplay mechanics that feel like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be checking in here every day for 6 months because I gotta see if my Islanders are
What they're doing.
romancing
Well,
tomorrow.
I am gonna. I'm making it. I have a to do list going next to me, which is why I'm looking over here, and I'm actually putting get the demo on there right now.
Mhm.
So I will report back on that as well because, like I said, I was not interested in this before this conversation.
I feel like every game in the world comes out in April. Every time I see a preview or a demo or a direct, it's like ba April 2026, and so this is April 16th. So I feel like mid-April there's a billion games on our wish lists that are going to all come out at the same time. This is one of them.
Yeah.
So
I don't know
report
what I
back.
have waiting on in April. I don't know if I have anything, and I'm kind of I have a goal right now, which I've talked about in the Discord, and I'm about to talk about more as we switch over to my next game.
Yes.
So I don't know if I'm going to actually buy a lot new right now,
Yeah,
especially
I
since
feel
I
the
have
same.
this thing in mind. Like Fatal Frame 2's remake just came out a couple
Okay,
weeks
right.
ago, and I want it. They're doing some sort of crossover with Silent Hill F that I just found out about, which I
Oh,
was like,
interesting.
yeah, like it has something to do with stuff in the game, but then I think there's going to be some sort of DLC too. And if you
Hmm.
like buy the bundle, you can buy the bundle of 2 games together, and then by buying that bundle, you get these bonuses. But since I already own one of the two, I can buy the bundle at a discounted
Right.
price and then get those
Yes.
extra things.
Yep.
So I am going to do that eventually. But yeah, like I mean, it's one of my favorite horror games of all time, and I still am just like, I'm not going to get that right now.
Right, because you're gonna like go hard on it for a week or two, and then 47 games are gonna hit in April that you have to start, and then you're gonna lose track of it. I'm feeling the exact same
Yeah, and also
zone.
on top of that, I I'm wondering how long. Okay, so I think I said last week or the week before that I had this idea from playing Resident Evil Requiem that maybe I would, after finishing it, go back and start the series from the beginning.
Right.
Because I have played some of the 1 remake. I have played 6 multiplayer a little bit. And when 4 came out for VR, I decided, because it was such a lauded game, I was like, I'm just going to play 4 in VR.
Yeah.
I didn't finish it because I hurt my arm. And so I wasn't able to but I think I played about 60% of the way through.
Were you, and was this PC VR with the MetaQuest, or was it native they released it for MetaQuest natively?
They released it for MetaQuest.
That's
and I
cool.
played it.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that was nice. So I played no wires and I did really enjoy it. I thought it was well adapted and I thought it was really fun to play in that setting.
Cool.
But when in this very ambitious, I'm going to play all of Resident Evil in order. I think I'm going to do it on a PC this time instead of playing in VR, just to have that experience. So I finished Requiem, really enjoyed it. Thought about whether or not I wanted to start at 1. And I talked with Sky about it a little bit, since he is our Resident Evil expert. Decided to go to 2 because I don't want to drop any spoilers, but I will vaguely say that there is a big piece of the history of 2 in Requiem.
Yes,
so I played that and became very curious about that. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, I think what I'll do is, I've just spent all this time with, Daddy Leon, as we call him in my house, 51-year-old hot ass Leon. And maybe we will go back to, Resident Evil 2, where Leon is basically on his first day and he's a baby, and, you're, living the whole, Raccoon City Police Department experience, and zombies are taking over, Raccoon City. Okay, this is a very good game. So let me just preface it with that before I say, oh my God, going from boss daddy Leon, who can like hack people's brains open with an axe, and like a roundhouse kick that could literally like explode a person's head, to, hey guys. Oh my God. Like, first of all, he's like 20. And so he's never seen, like, he's like the greenest of green cops. He doesn't have a melee attack unless you have a knife. And so like,
he can't even punch.
No, like playing, I unknowingly chose the most frustrating thing in the world, to go from the most OP overpowered character to playing the same character in their like greenest form. Like, he's starting to get some better weapons, so it's like a little less frustrating. But a lot of people talk about how when you play Requiem, it sucks to play Grace because she's like very weak and like he's very strong.
Right.
And this to me is like playing the Grace version of Leon. Like, he's, very inexperienced. He's a baby. He's, he has a pistol, and then later he has a shotgun, which is not too bad. But another thing about Requiem that I'm now realizing playing this game is that they don't give you a lot of ammo, but they give you enough, is maybe the best way of putting it. And Resident Evil is kind of famous for making, especially the early games, for making you function on little to no supplies.
I've heard this, that's the core, like it's a survival game or whatever, but like
it's a survival game.
The scarcity of resources is like core to the gameplay. And I dig that.
I mean, I was mentally prepared for it, or so I thought, but like, last night I was running around an area and I had like 1 shotgun bullet and 1 round of shotgun and like 2 rounds of and I had been badly injured. So I'm limping all over the map, and I'm just like, I just need an herb and like 1 case of any kind of bullet.
Yeah.
And like all these zombies are coming at me. There's this famous character, Mr. X, who kind of like stalks you. He's like a bioweapon. So like he shows up. So like I've got like that.
Elon?
Right.
He's in this game?
Can you imagine?
I'd love to shoot him.
Yeah, me too. But like, so all these things are happening, and I'm just like so frustrated because I can't even shoot anything. I'm just like, oh my fucking God. So finally I hit the point of the game where where it goes from being Leon to being Ada Wong, who is a very famous canon Resident Evil
Okay.
character. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, she's a spy, and like she has a gun. She has a very different type of gameplay. But I started doing that, and then that was kind of like, I mean, she's not scared. She's a cool as a cucumber character, but like her gameplay is also not about brute force. And it made me think a lot about how well balanced Requiem is, in that you have Grace's gameplay, which is very classic Resident Evil, very little resources, running from stuff a lot. And then you get to go over and be Leon and kick everyone's ass. And that balance is nice because it kind of takes what Resident Evil is known for in the early games. And then it takes the games like 5 and 6, or 4, 5, and 6, which were much more action oriented.
Yeah.
And it gives you kind of like the best of both worlds in a way where you feel like it's being loyal to the original games, but also sprinkling that with the fun of feeling like a badass.
Totally. And what you're describing is the difference between a survival game and a power fantasy.
Action, right. And I'm like, it's funny because as much as I love horror games, and I've played plenty of survival horror games, I've realized that I do not particularly love feeling helpless. Yeah, I mean, being an OG is one thing, but like, I don't know. I mean, I think it's the contrast, right? I think it's just playing a really strong character.
The contrast is very appealing. Yeah. I mean, it's a delicate art in design.
It is.
The older I get, the more I appreciate like how good it feels to overcome an enemy or an obstacle when you are weak. But if you're just like I don't know, Diablo or whatever, is like, I'm just spamming a button to wipe out thousands of enemies. Like, I get it, but that is less interesting to me over time.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, I can say for sure that it's really easy to see why this game captured so many people's attention. It does do tension really well. It does do the survival horror thing really well. The storyline is very interesting.
Can you place this in time for me? When did this come out? Resident Evil 2?
96 or 95, I think. Let's see.
Wow. And is this a remake or what am I?
This is a full remake.
This is the remake. Okay.
Yes. So the original,
which came out in 2019, according to Steam.
Right.
Is that okay?
Original Resident Evil 2 came out for the PlayStation on January 21st, 1998. So that was the release of the original game. And then they started remaking the games, I don't know, maybe like 8 years ago. So they started with 1 got a full makeover, 2 got a full makeover. I'm not sure about 3. 4 was remade, which is why I was playing it in VR, because that got a full remake. They haven't started with 5 or 6. They haven't gotten to those. I don't know when they intend to get to those. But so I thought, oh, well, that's probably a pretty good, because I don't really do super well with going back to like PS1 era. Like if I missed it, I missed it.
Thinking. It's like,
it's just really, for me, it's just really hard to go back to the graphics.
Yeah.
And so I knew that I probably would never go back. It didn't really appeal to me the idea of going back to it in its original form. But after a remake, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, like that'll probably be pretty good. And it is good. I mean, having just played Requiem, right, which is like the newest of technology, and then going into this, it's not super different as far as like graphically, it's not quite as good, but it's, I when I pulled it up on Steam to send you the link, I saw that they actually have a patch that delivers like ray tracing for it. And I was like, oh, okay, wow.
And there's a demo, by the way. I'm sure anyone who wants to play this game, who is listening to our voices, has already played it or owns it or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just figured, having gotten some of the Resident Evil story and the other games I've played, it might be kind of fun to kind of go back to the beginning and see it happen from the beginning. Yeah. So it is enjoyable, but I will admit that last night I hit a point where I just like kind of rage quit because I was playing Ada and I was having to run away from a bunch of zombies while trying to use this device she has that like scans for like wires in the walls of like the building you're in, and like has to like you're basically trying to control the power, and like with this freaking crazy gun she has. And I was trying to do that while being chased, while not really able to defend myself well because I have kind of a piddly gun. And I was just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
It was like 10:30, and I was like, I'll come back to this. Like,
time to go back to Maker Valley and grow some wheat.
Right. Time to soothe myself with a different type of thing. But I will say that, you know, so far, I feel like it is absolutely lived up to its pedigree. Mm-hmm. I did see a moving scene in it last night. Actually, like, made me feel emotions. Where
what's that like?
I don't know. It's strange.
It's been so
where
long.
You encounter a man who is protecting his child, and his child is infected. And it was, Patrick told me it was added in the remake.
In the remake.
It did not exist in the original game, but you know, you're with Ada, and Ada's like, you know, we need to take her out before she changes. And the man, you know, says, you know, please leave us alone. Please give us privacy. And he walks in a room with her, and he closes the door, and then you hear him shoot her.
Oh my God.
I was like, wow. And I was like, oh my God. And then I said, like, to Patrick, like, was this in the 1998 version? Because that is really like some storytelling. And he was like, no, it wasn't actually.
It's so dark.
They added it, but I was like, wow, that's really something. And then there's also a scene, which I believe was in the original, where as Leon, when you first go into RPD, there is an injured officer there who would have been one of your coworkers because it was supposed to be your first day on the job. And he has been bitten, and he's trying to help you. And you have to like kind of run all over RPD and then eventually come back to like the main room, which is where your typewriter is to save and all that stuff. And he's in that room, and you see him quite a few times, and you want to save him. And he's like, no, it's too late for me. Leave me, you know, whatever. And then eventually at some point you go back, and he's turned, and you have to murder him. And I was just like, oh, Capcom,
It's devious.
It's devious, but yeah, it's I mean, it's excellent. You know, to the surprise of no one, it is excellent, and it is a very nice experience to be having to, even with my rage quit frustration, it is a nice experience to be going through a game that is so in my wheelhouse and so beloved that I've always been like, oh, I should get around to that. I'm finally getting around to it.
Yeah, good. That's great.
Yeah,
it's a good looking remake. Like even
it is.
2019 is not long ago, but also is somewhat long ago. And I mean, I knew that all these games had their remakes, but I guess I didn't realize how sophisticated all this stuff was in terms of like they're really bringing it to the table to get to bring the whole franchise and storyline into the modern age.
I mean, to be completely fair, like this has been a huge moneymaker for them, so it is financially prudent for them to be remaking these games. Like it is just because I mean, look, I've been gaming for 30 plus years, and I never got around to this game, so so Resident Evil 2 Remake 2019 on Steam alone has 52,000 overwhelmingly positive English language reviews only, which is like when you go on Steam and you see a popular game, you don't usually see review numbers as big as that, and that remains a very tiny fraction of like the people who are playing and enjoying and buying that game. It's wild. It's cool. Like I know we've talked about this before, but the idea of kind of carrying forward series that were incredibly important to us with remakes.
Right.
I have a friend who I've been friends with now for almost 30 years. She has a son. He is now 17 and he's a gamer. And he recently discovered Silent Hill via 2 for the first time, and he played the whole game. And I have his phone number, and so he texted me the end screen, and he was like, "I can't believe I finished it." And he's like, "This is one of the best games I've ever played."
Oh,
And
wow.
I was like, "Wow, how cool is it that for me now in my late 40s, I can experience a person that was my age when I played it."
Yes, yes.
Experiencing it today and being really rocked by it. I just thought that was so awesome.
That's very special for so many reasons, but also in a world where most people his age are only playing Fortnite, Roblox, and Minecraft, as we know from statistics and sales numbers.
Yep.
It is cool. It's a cool thing.
Yeah, I think it's really, really cool. So,
and this is cynically speaking, to your point, like this is why corporations remake their IP over and over, because it's about generational transmission. And why are we getting a Moana live action movie? Because people love Moana, and then they will go do this, and then the kids who see that will then like that too. It's all to be in charge of an IP that's like, hey, this will disappear and stop making money unless we reintroduce it to another generation, is a very interesting and fraught job to do.
Yeah.
And it can be amazing, as we clearly see, or it can get fucked up. Like,
yeah, I think for myself that, like, we all think of things like, oh, my alternate reality where I do this. I'm like, in my alternate reality where I help to bring, in some way, shape, or form, help to bring remakes of games that changed my life to life for younger generations, that would be deeply rewarding to me.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I agree.
I love that idea.
All right, let's get out of here. I'm playing one other game, but I'm going to talk about it next week because my daughter made pancakes and I would like to eat them now.
Oh, that's so sweet. Wow. She cooks and does her own laundry at 13?
But then she leaves a big mess all over the house that I have to clean up. So it's good, but it's not that good.
She's learning. She's
getting there. She's an awesome kid. We're lucky. We have awesome kids. So I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm obsessed with this game Jump Space, which is another spaceship shooting game, and it was fine in its demo and playtest form, and now it's great, and I'm excited about it. But I'm going to talk about that next week with you.
Okay.
For now, we're going to get going. Please hop into the Discord, or if you're already there, let us know what you've been playing, what you've been kicking around. As usual, please resist fascism in all its forms at every turn. Remember to rewind. Fuck ICE. Fuck Trump. Rewind your podcast after you listen to them, and we will talk with you in 1 week's time.
Bye.